Like a fish to a worm. Lego has got us in a chokehold on the gifts with purchases front. Spend X amount of dollars and get a special prize in return. Well, by gosh golly jeepers, they've done it again with the Micro Rocket Launchpad. Na-na-na-na. It comes with a rocket, a launch pad, a rocket transport vehicle, a spaceship, and 2 space babies. Each micro build is a callback to a previous set that's already been made, but more on that later. Classic space fans will recognize and appreciate the box design and color scheme, as it is a direct callback to the late 70s and 80s space sets. Following the bag order, we've got our first build, which is a miniature spaceship. This looks like it could be referencing set 497 Galaxy Explorer, but also kind of looks like 442 Space Shooter. It's a small little fella, but it looks great at this scale, and the Space Baby fits in it really well. It's got boosters in the back and uses a small amount of parts. Now, to me, this is the highlight. It's a massive ship. I can barely fit this anywhere in my apartment. So if you've got this set, good luck finding a spot to put it because it is massive. One thing about this little spaceship that I want to point out is that due to its size, it is incredibly swooshable, and that is a great thing. Next, we get to build the rocket and launch pad, and it measures about close to 30 feet. The launch pad lowers down via hinge pieces, which allows for the rocket to shoot up without catching on the sides of the tower. Again, great use of pieces here. That's going to be a consistent theme here throughout the whole set, is that the pieces are used really efficiently. There doesn't feel like any waste in the set. The rocket itself has a classic space sticker on the side, and it slots right into the launch pad with a single stud, which feels sturdy enough to not randomly tip over, pet behavior pending. This rocket looks very similar to the LEGO Set 897 mobile rocket launcher that released back in 1979. It's a relatively simple rocket, so it could be referencing a number of classic sets, but to me it looks the most like the one in 897. Next up, we got the Command Center, and this seems to be referencing the 926 Command Center from 1979. Now, I'm realizing that many of these classic 80s sets are actually from the late 70s. Absolutely wild. Anyway, the Command Center features studs for the baby space people to stand on, as well as printed and sticker elements, adding some detail in the interior. It also uses that retro yellowed window pane and features a space logo along the backside. I particularly like the rods along the bottom, which make it feel like it was purpose-built for the moon, similar to the suspension rods on the Apollo 11 lunar lander. Last but definitely not least is the rocket transport with a really simple yet awesome suspension system. This looks to be a callback to 1982's 6950 mobile rocket transport. The transport vehicle features a place to put the rocket and interesting greebling along the side and top. There's also a satellite dish and a yellow windscreen element. There's plenty of places to put the mini space babies all over the transport, including what appears to be a control panel on the inside towards the center of the ship. Below that is a ladder for the babies to climb up into, though why the babies have access to heavy machinery is beyond me. I really like the suspension system in place because it allows the 2 tire units to move independently of one another, and it just uses a couple Technic pieces, so it's really nothing complicated. It especially looks good running over top of a classic space base plate with the craters, which luckily I do have on me. Now that's what I call great presentation. Oh, right, the babies. You get 2 of them, and they are adorable. One of them is blue, and the other is white.
A white man? No!
The head, helmet, and rocket pack are just one piece altogether, so the baby is just 2 pieces. And I'm glad that they included these in the set. It improves the sense of scale that the set was going for without the elements feeling too micro. I think without the babies in the set, it would feel much less grand, and therefore the babies do add quite a bit. For the low cost of spending $200, you get this 325-piece trip down memory lane. Now, luckily, I was gifted this by my brother, so I skipped the whole spending part and just got the reward. And he had one as well, so we ended up building them together while our ladies had a girls' night. Now, I was born in 1998, so I didn't grow up with the classic space theme at all, but I did grow up with the classic space parts and pieces in our big Lego tub. Some of the first things that my brother and I created as kids were random spaceships we assembled in the basement together, and seeing the classic space sets like this come out now has less of an impact on me than it would with someone who grew up in the 80s, but I do love a good retro set like this. My only problem with this set is that it had a limited stock and that it was a gift with purchase. I firmly believe that a set like this, priced correctly, could sell like water bottles in the Sahara if it was given a full release instead of being a gift with purchase. And I felt that way about a couple of the gift with purchases, and maybe that's the point. I get the need to have it that way. I get that they have limited stock to try and get you in the store as quickly as possible, and so that you spend, in this case, it's $200. Now, there is a rumor that this set will come back later this year for a second round, so keep your eyes peeled for that one. If you look at eBay and you see what was recently sold, there's people paying the $60-$70 for this set. So clearly the desire to have it is there. Now I hope LEGO sees that and they have a larger stock for the second run, but that remains to be seen. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.